VITA has a number of stain and glaze materials. So right here, this is for ceramics, ceramic crown and bridge, and for blocks. This is called the mini stain kit. It only comes in the powder form. They also have the giant stain kit, which has a variety of colors and shades, as you can see here. These are all the shades, and as I drop it, that's all the shades that is available. It comes in this big kit, which actually comes with pins first. And right here, it comes with your two different kinds of glaze, glaze LT and regular glaze. Glaze LT stands for glaze low temperature. So what that means, it's at a lower temperature, meaning it has a range between, I believe it's 720 all the way up to like 850, maybe even higher. Then if you want to go higher, which would be like in some of your ceramic blocks, some of your ceramics would be your regular glaze. Your glaze LT would be for dentists. It would usually be just for your blocks. They also have a light cure stain and glaze, so it's the exact same shades and stains for that, but it's a light cure material. So this is for like enamic, your acrylics, your some of your like VMLC flow, which I'll get into later down the road. We also have over here is a Chroma kit for classic, so your A, B, C, and D. And then this is a Chroma kit it's for your 3D shades. So that's your M's, your L's, and your R's. So what that is Chroma, for example, is literally just changes the chroma. So you have an A, B, C, or D. And what that is if you have like an A1 block or an A1 crown, and you need to change it to A2 or A3, you literally will just swipe it. I'll get into that in a second. And it's gonna work the exact same way for your 3Ds. So if you have a 1M1 and you need to make it an 1M2, you literally will put one swipe of the M2. If you gotta go up to M3, then you have your M3. And that works from 2s to 3s, the 4s, and the 5s, and your O's. But it also works for your L's and your R's. I'm gonna quickly go over the Chroma kit, which I'm very excited about. This says not for clinical use because this is the sample kit, because it goes around to a lot of people use it. So it has A, B, C, or D. And what it does, it literally changes the chroma. So I have the A right here. I'm gonna remove the dog hair because I have a dog. And I also have cats, so that might even be a cat hair. Anyway, you take the A, then you take your Akzent Plus powder fluid, simply mix together. Take your little mixer. This is my mixer. I might have used too much liquid, but we'll see. So it literally changes the shade. So right here, I have A1, A2. Take my magic and put on one swipe. Clean that off. Put it back to the way it was. Turns an A1 into an A2. Now, if you were to needing an A3, you would just use more stain. You would simply put it in and fire it, and then you could fire it again, and it would become A3. You could do this vice versa. So if you had an A3 already, and you wanted to make an A3.5, or maybe an A4, you can do that. I would only personally go up 2 stages or 2 shades, so to speak. Now, that's just because you don't want to cake it in too much. You don't want to have too much stain on it. It works for like if you have a B1 and it's supposed to be a B2, same with the C's, the D's. It works the same way with the 3D Chroma kit. You want to make an 1M1 into like a 1L 1.5 or 1L 2.5 or Rs or a 1M2 or a 3, it works the exact same way. Because VITA has, I believe there's Zirconia's is 1M1, 2M1, 3M1, 4M1, and OM1. So you can literally have all the shades that you need in 3D with this Chroma kit. Personally, if I'm going to recommend something, I always recommend people to go with the Akzent Plus mini stain kit. And then if they use classic shades, to also get the Chroma kit for classic. And if they use 3D, I recommend the 3D Chroma kit. The mini stain kit comes with everything here. I'll show you all of that. The reason I go with the mini stain kit is because most dentists don't need the whole big kit. If you're a lab, you might want to get the whole kit because it literally comes with every color of the rainbow and then some. However, you could always just get the mini kit, and then or it comes with this wheel. Get the mini kit and the Chroma kits, and then if you need to add something down the road, you can literally just order the shades itself. I like the mini kit because it has the blue, which is the most popular. And I will mix these in and not waste your time. Now, I mixed all of these together. And as you can see how I do it, I'll just be like, okay, here's the A right here. And then they correspond with where they are in position. In case you need to add more down the road, I can just be like, oh, I need more of this. So I can just go right here. Or I need more blue, so I can just take this. Now I'm just showing, I left one open to show how I do it. I literally just dumped a little in and put a little drop. And I kind of bring the liquid into it or mix it together. Again, these do come in paste, except for the mini stain kit. It's only in a powder form. I personally prefer the powder form because that way you can just see how much of a concentrate you want. So I can dilute this even more. This is a white. I can make it even more diluted if I wanted to. And also with these, they do not expire. You can literally just cover that up so no dust gets in there. And they are good to go for the next day. If the next day you leave it alone and it dries out, you can just, again, add a little bit of liquid. What I like to do during the day is just add those 2 little drops. So that way, if I need to, I can literally, this is just a little dry, I can dip it in here and then mix it. And that way it's good. I don't have to add a full drop. I can actually have more control of what I do. And I will show you stain glaze in a second. So as I mentioned, with the powders, you can change the consistency. You can change how much you want in the blues, the whites, the browns. You can have it more thicker to make it more concentrated. Now with the glaze, which I just added here and here, you want it more of a honey consistency. So you see how it kind of sticks and kind of pulls with it? So you want it a little thicker. Because the reason you want it that way is because you're adding the liquid. So the liquid evaporates in the furnace, and then you're only left with the stain or the glaze. So if you're doing it with a glaze, you want only the glaze. You don't want liquid being all over the crown because, again, that evaporates, so you want the glaze to stick. So that's why you need it a little thicker. That's just a quick run through on how that works. So here's a quick rundown on staining and glazing. Simply take your glaze and you would put it everywhere that you're gonna glaze, that you want glaze. So when you're glazing, you don't want to go up. You want to go downward. The reason you want to go downward is because if I go up, I could actually add glaze or stains underneath the crown. And then that basically messes up your margins. And you don't want it underneath because it's not going to bond with your margins, right? So here's another brush. So after I glaze, you can do this with every crown, well, except for like enamic, because that is light cured only. You do not put that in the furnace at all. But for Saprinity, your zirconia stains, your Mark II, your Trilux, your Real Life. So what I like to do is, personally, because I always recommend getting the Chroma kit, is I would take the A and I would go underneath. I just do a little cervical. I just like to show how much you can be dramatic with it. So you can see, now I wouldn't use that much obviously, but that is just what I like to show, so that way the camera can see. And then you want occlusally, so brush that off. So what I did is I added a drop in there, and then I simply dap the brush on something to clean it with. And then I literally just spread the love. And the reason I'm actually putting it in there is so that way you actually see a bit more depth. I'll go a little crazy with it now and go over exaggerate, but now you can see the depth of the crown. So when you give that to your patient, it's going to look a lot deeper and it's going to look a lot more real. So I always like doing a little cervical, and then if it's a posterior, just inside the crown. And then what I like to do after that is clean the brush. So you would clean the brush with, you would have like a little glass of distilled water. I have some over on the side. Distilled water, not tap water, because you can actually add fluoride and everything to the crown. So you want it distilled, clean it, dry it off, and then grab your next stain. So I'm going to get blue. And what blue does, it adds translucency. So what I like to do is put a little drop on each cusp. Clean off my brush so the blush no longer, and then I like to spread the blue just ever so slightly. Now what I like to tell people when I'm doing it is you want to see the blue but not see the blue at the same time. So what that adds again is that translucency effect. Now actually, let's make it look pretty. I don't like how that looked, so I shouldn't have went exaggerated. That's the problem when you get into this so long. You want to make sure it looks nice. So it's just a little, just to add, just to keep things simple. Now people will ask, what about Saprinity? Should you do it before or after? Personally, if you're getting new into staining and glazing, I would do it after, just to get a rough idea on what stains look like. Now with Saprinity, I always tell people, once you do it a couple of times and you understand how the stains work, then I would recommend doing it before you even crystallize. Blocks like Saprinity are great. You can literally just stain, glaze, do everything you want. And yes, you would literally do everything that you did before and add your blues, you know, boom, boom, clean it off, spread it a little bit. You do a little occlusal. You do all that, and then at the end, you literally just put it in the furnace. Do exactly what you did before. It will take, I want to say, 3 or 4 times before you understand and feel comfortable with it. But after you've done it a couple of times, it'll save you so much time in the long run. It's just easier to do. That's basically it. I wanted to show one thing you could also do. Some don't like mixing the stains and glaze. Some people don't like the powders. So again, people sometimes prefer the paste. They make things even easier. They also have a spray glaze LT. So you can actually spray it, then put your stains on afterwards. That concludes it for staining and glazing, the quick and easy version, I like to say. I like to do that with all the crowns in the anterior as well. I do the same thing. I would go cervically, and then I wouldn't obviously do any occlusal surface because there is none there, but I would do a little blue on the incisal. Again, I like doing the blue to the point where you can't see it, but you do see it. And that again adds that translucency effect. You can also use, there's grays and then there's blacks. That gets a little advanced into adding the translucency. The easiest way for now is I would go with the blue and then work your way from there. Thank you. Have a great day.